Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive.
Yeah.
For those of us who live out of suitcases, staying ahead of the curve in the travel world is key.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be diving deep into the True Travel Treasures Guide
Uh-huh.
to help make your 2025 travel smoother and more enjoyable,
That's right.
especially with all these subtle little changes that airlines are constantly rolling out.
Oh, yeah, they're always changing things up. It's
Yeah,
like you don't even realize it until you're at the gate shoving your bag under the seat. And I was like, oh, there's a box there now.
it's like a game of travel Tetris.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get you prepped. The True Travel Treasures Guide is warning us about a shrinking space issue. Airlines are cramming more seats onto planes,
More seats.
which means
More passengers.
more passengers to contend with.
Exactly.
But it's not just about squeezing in more passengers for revenue.
Right.
The guide revealed that airlines are walking a tightrope with FAA regulations because if they exceed the allowed weight limit by overpacking a plane, they could face hefty fines or even flight delays.
Wow, I did not know that.
So there's a limit to how many of us they can pack in like sardines.
Yeah,
But more passengers inevitably means tighter boarding windows,
absolutely.
which can be a real nail-biter,
Oh, yeah.
especially with connecting flights.
Yeah, so boarding is starting earlier these days, sometimes 45 to 50 minutes before takeoff.
Oh, wow.
And those 50-minute layovers that airlines present as, like, so convenient,
Yeah.
they're increasingly becoming a recipe for stress,
Well, I know.
especially when you factor in that underseat electronic box issue that the True Travel Treasures Guide is warning us about.
Okay, so let's unpack this. These boxes, they're basically reducing the already limited underseat storage.
Right.
But why the secrecy? Why aren't airlines more transparent about which seats are affected?
It's a mystery. There's no consistent system for identifying which seats are affected. So
Interesting.
I have noticed aisle seats seem to have those boxes more often, while middle seats often have more room.
So opting for the dreaded middle seat might actually give me more underseat storage. That's a plot twist.
It is.
So how can we avoid that last-minute scramble at the gate, especially with connecting flights?
Check your boarding time the day before. And always plan to arrive at the gate at least an hour before departure.
Okay, arriving early.
Yeah.
Now, the True Travel Treasures Guide also says that it's important to understand airline refund policies.
No.
But let's be honest, deciphering those policies can feel like navigating a legal labyrinth.
It can.
They bury them in the fine print.
Yeah, drop-down menus on the websites.
But taking the time to understand them is crucial.
Yes, especially if you have a cancellation or a significant delay.
Knowing your rights and what you're entitled to can make a stressful situation a little less chaotic.
Exactly. It's so important.
So take screenshots of your flight details. Save those confirmation emails.
Uh-huh.
So if you need to speak to an agent, you've got it.
You got it.
It's like having your travel armor on,
Exactly.
ready to advocate for yourself. Speaking of which, the True Travel Treasures Guide reminds us not to be afraid to ask questions, even once you're on board the plane.
Right.
Even anxieties about things like turbulence are totally valid concerns to raise with the crew.
Flight attendants are there to help.
It's like that old saying, there's no such thing as a stupid question,
Right.
especially when it comes to your well-being during a flight.
Exactly. And even if turbulence makes you anxious, there are coping mechanisms. The True Travel Treasures Guide suggests holding a physical book
Okay.
to focus your grip. Or you could even try writing your name with your non-dominant hand.
Interesting.
It helps distract you from the bumps and jitters.
Those are some great tips. This guide really is about empowering travelers to feel more confident and in control. Speaking of staying in the loop, the True Travel Treasures Guide highlights some major updates coming in 2025 that travelers need to be aware of. So what's the first big change we should put on our radar?
Well, for our listeners planning trips to Canada, be warned. Some airlines are starting to charge for carry-on bags beyond a personal item. So if you've got a purse or small crossbody bag, that's fine.
Okay.
But anything larger could incur a fee.
That's a huge shift. It really underscores the importance of checking those bag dimensions before you pack. Is this something we're likely to see happening in other countries too?
It's hard to say, but it's definitely a trend to watch.
So forewarned is forearmed.
Exactly.
Speaking of being prepared, there's another update specifically for American travelers heading to the UK.
Starting January 8th, 2025, you'll need an electronic travel authorization, or ETA. It's like a pre-travel visa, but it's all digital.
So even more paperwork to juggle.
Hmm.
Is there a fee associated with this ETA?
There's a small processing fee,
Yeah.
and even babies and kids will need one.
Okay, so we've got our Canadian carry-on strategy and our UK ETA sorted. Anything else American travelers need to be mindful of?
One more thing. The real ID requirement for American driver's licenses is still in effect for domestic travel.
Oh, yeah.
So make sure you is up to date.
It seems like the name of the game in 2025 is going to be prepared.
Right.
But those are just some of the bigger picture changes. The True Travel Treasures Guide also digs into some more subtle policy shifts that are already affecting how we board and handle our luggage, like the third bag crackdown.
Yeah, remember that extra purse or tote bag you used to carry alongside your personal item?
Oh, yeah?
Airlines are tightening the reins. Now it has to fit completely inside your personal item before you board.
That's a real game changer, especially for those of us who like to travel with a Mary Poppins bag. It definitely calls for some strategic packing skills.
And speaking of packing, here's another change that might surprise you. Flight attendants are no longer allowed to lift bags into the overhead bins.
Wait, really? No more Can you help me with this days?
It seems those days are gone.
Wow.
New regulations prevent flight attendants from lifting heavy luggage.
Okay.
It's mainly to prevent injuries.
So we're officially entering the era of self-sufficiency when it comes to our luggage.
It seems
But on the bright side, the True Travel Treasures Guide has some fantastic packing tips and in-flight entertainment advice to help us navigate these changes.
absolutely.
So let's delve into those strategies and see how we can make those travel adjustments a little smoother and less stressful.
Sounds good. The True Travel Treasures Guide has one of the simplest but most effective packing tips. Pack your jacket last,
Oh,
especially in the colder months when overhead bin space is at a premium.
that makes sense. I've always just tossed my jacket in my bag wherever it fits. But it makes sense that they would prioritize suitcases over bulky coats in those overhead bins.
Yeah.
So packing it last gives you the flexibility to tuck it under your seat or wait till all the luggage is stowed before finding a spot for it.
Exactly. It's all about maximizing your options and minimizing that pre-flight scramble. And the True Travel Treasures Guide really emphasizes mastering the carry-on only trip.
Now, this is a skill I'm actively trying to hone. It's so liberating to breeze past baggage claim and head straight to your destination.
Yeah.
But let's be real, most of us tend to overpack, thinking we need our entire wardrobe for a week-long trip.
It's a common trap. But the True Travel Treasures Guide has a wealth of tips and tricks for packing everything you need into a single carry-on bag. They even have dedicated packing playlists on their YouTube channel.
Really?
Yeah, that break down different packing methods for various types of trips.
It sounds like those playlists are a treasure trove of packing wisdom.
Yeah.
I know we'll be checking those out before my next trip. Now let's shift gears to in-flight entertainment. The True Travel Treasures Guide highlights some interesting changes happening in that realm, especially with the rise of business class.
Ah, yes, the rebranding of first class.
Yeah.
It sounds glamorous, but the True Travel Treasures Guide cautions travelers to read the fine print. Sometimes business class simply means extra legroom without the perks you might expect from traditional first class.
So it's not always champagne and caviar. What are some red flags travelers should be aware of when considering that business class upgrade?
One thing to watch out for is the lack of a dedicated meal service. Some airlines might offer a snack or a limited selection of beverages, but don't assume you'll get a full meal just because you're in business class. Check the airline's website or contact customer service to confirm what amenities are included.
That's a great tip. It's always better to be pleasantly surprised than disappointed. And speaking of things you don't want to be surprised by, the True Travel Treasures Guide sheds light on a recent security issue that's leading to some changes at airports.
Right. There have been a few instances of passengers attempting to board flights without paid tickets, essentially trying to sneak on board as stowaways.
Wait, really? Like hiding on the plane? That sounds like something out of a movie.
It does. In one case, a passenger was trying to get to Paris even though they weren't authorized to leave the country. Another one involved a woman hiding in the plane's restroom on a flight to Hawaii.
That's incredible. And I imagine airlines are taking these incidents very seriously.
Absolutely. The True Travel Treasures Guide reports that airlines are tightening security measures. So be prepared for increased ticket checks at airport security checkpoints.
Okay.
They're really stepping things up to prevent these types of incidents from happening again.
Well, it's reassuring to know they're taking steps to enhance security, even if it means a slightly longer process. But that just highlights the importance of arriving at the airport with plenty of time to spare.
Exactly. It's all about managing expectations and being prepared for potential delays or additional security procedures. Now, before we move on to our final thoughts, I want to circle back to a question we posed earlier. With all these changes happening in the airline industry, what aspects of air travel are most important to you as a traveler?
It's a great question to ponder as you plan your 2025 adventures. For some, it might be all about comfort, those extra legroom seats or priority boarding. For others, it might be about finding the best deals, even if it means sacrificing some amenities.
And for others, it might be about minimizing stress and having a smooth, hassle-free travel experience. The key is to identify your priorities and make informed choices that align with those preferences. The True Travel Treasures Guide can be an invaluable resource in helping you navigate those choices.
Absolutely. The guide truly is a treasure trove of travel wisdom, providing insights, tips, and strategies to help you make the most of your travel experiences. Speaking of treasures, we'd be remiss if we didn't remind you about the amazing resource that sparked this whole conversation, the True Travel Treasures Guide.
Oh, yeah.
You can find a wealth of travel tips and hacks on their website at truetraveltreasures.online, and their blog is truetraveltreasures.blog.
It's a fantastic resource for travelers of all levels, whether you're a seasoned globetrotter or just starting out.
And don't forget to explore the YouTube shopping area below this video. You'll find some fantastic travel resources that can help you stay organized, pack efficiently,
Yeah.
and just elevate your overall travel experience.
Yeah, those resources can really make a difference, especially with all the changes and adjustments we've been talking about.
And speaking of staying connected, I'm putting out daily videos packed with travel tips, hacks, and secrets.
Oh, wow.
So be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out.
I will.
Now, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder. As you embark on your 2025 journeys, given all these changes we've discussed, what aspects of air travel are most important to you? And how might you adjust your travel habits to prioritize those aspects?
It's a great question to think about as you navigate the changing landscape of air travel. Maybe it's about prioritizing comfort, embracing flexibility, or just finding ways to minimize stress and maximize enjoyment.
Well said.
Yeah.
The key is to be informed, be adaptable, and most importantly, make travel choices that align with your own needs and preferences.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into the world of airline travel. Safe travels, everyone, and remember, with a little knowledge and preparation, you can navigate those airport terminals and soar to your next adventure with confidence and ease.
Happy travels.